Hi, Jamie McGuire, A.K.A. Smiley, and you're listening to the What Is From cast on the Podcastica network. The bell is ringing. Time to go home before it gets dark.
Hmm? Ah! Oh. Welcome to the show, folks, and we have a special guest. I know the fans have been dying to hear your voice, and we got a little bit of a taste of it earlier. The man of the hour, Smiley himself. Jamie, thank you so much for taking the time. And how the heck are you?
Hey, Alex, Lizzie, great to meet you
We're
both.
doing great. We're all pumped up. I know Lizzie has a ton of questions. Go for it, Lizzie.
Okay. All right. So, Jamie, we are beyond tickled. I think you are one of our biggest gets. We are so excited. Um, I I'm a background person too. I do background work here in Atlanta. Sometimes I never expect to be elevated to a speaking role. And I really thought I was surprised to find out that all the monsters are background for the most part. Um, can you tell us about that entire experience? Not entire, but
no, no. Initially, when I started, I applied for background, and I really think I was thrilled just to be a part of the show.
Yeah.
Ever since it first came up, I was just thrilled to be there, do everything, and I just loved the entire experience, the people, cast, crew, setting, the scenery, right? It was just an overall amazing experience. And then um of spring of last year, I found out, oh, okay, from soon going to be released, or there's from Facebook groups. I was like, okay, cool. I was on the show, right? I'm gonna follow, see how it turns out.
Yeah.
Then I looked through a few groups, see a few members. So I'm like, oh, it's like, wait, why am I on the thing? And then all of a sudden, I just see this stuff or whatever, and I'm like, okay, then. It's like, okay, why am I seeing myself here, right? And like I'm being compared to this, that, and the other thing, and well, according to pictures, and
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on, and then next thing I know, I'm being asked for an interview last year, and I'm receiving praise for all kinds of people. And to all who are listening, I just want to say, keep watching the show. It's an honor to be on this podcast. It's an honor to be a part of From, and I'm glad you're all enjoying the show. And I really want to thank the viewers, cast, crew, everyone for helping me where I am today.
I have to just say this. You scare the crap out of me every time you're on the friggin' show. And that
no, go ahead.
God, I don't want you to have me for dinner.
That scene.
No, that's all right. I had a big lunch.
I have to tell you, that scene where you're looking down and we put it in our intro, that had to be one of the most terrifying scenes I've ever seen. Because the monsters or the creatures, they walk so slow and
Oh
so
my God.
deliberate. And and then with the new trailer, holy cow, what the heck is going on? But I'm loving the fact that they're embracing the monsters the way they are, the creatures. I don't know what we're supposed to call them yet because nobody's really said, but whatever you guys are, they've embraced you and they've embraced a bunch of the other creatures, and it's just amazing. So what how did you get to this point in terms of your career? I mean, I know you've probably done a lot of background work, but what did you do before this?
No, I did my fair share of background here and there, and appeared on a few things before, a couple of a TV episode or two, short movies, what have you. Uh, then of course with From, and since last year and the year before, I'd like to think my career um, started, moving a bit forward. And right now, with everything going on, it's like right now, this is one of the most exciting things to ever happen to me.
I bet it is.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm surprised my face isn't the same color as my hair right now. Like I'm surprised. Like I'm like that. My face is not just like a big tomato right now, right? So, like I'm that thrilled, and
Yeah.
I just can't believe it. I'm so excited and grateful that I'm
Yeah.
being interviewed, and I'm honored that you guys would have me on your podcast.
Yeah. I want to know, like, how how was this selection made for you and the others, especially you, since we're interviewing you and you are so iconic. Like, you come up in, I think, every single podcast we do,
Oh yeah.
we talk about you. Yeah. Yeah. But how was that selection made and what was the process? Is that your real smile? Like, is there a
Well,
prosthetic involved or anything?
um, it kind of is. So I'm not really sure how they picked which creatures for which exactly. All I know is um, the directions we were given as creatures is just uh, one night it was walk slow or just like look or be as creepy as you can, basically. And then of course I'm just like, oh, what the heck? I'll smile, maybe a bit of a glare. What the heck, right? I'll try and scare a few people, right? Or because you don't really growl or roar, you just move towards them slow, smile, and then um, when I saw everything, and of course that big thing, and which is so funny because a few people looks like, whoa, okay, that's got to be CGI. Or it's like I love it. It's like please don't haunt my nightmares or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Or just no, but I like really the small, really people who have seen it. She's like, no way, that's got to be CGI. It's like no, it's for the most part, it's basically me. So, but I can thank all the crew, like hair, makeup, and wardrobe for the rest. But the
Yeah.
smile is mostly just me. I mean,
Yeah.
if I scared anyone, sorry in advance.
We've talked to both the Lizzes, Saunders and Moy, and you know, for the big scene when you guys attacked the Colony House, she was there, and I asked her about you, and she's like, I don't really know him, but he just smiles, and they kind of stayed to themselves.
Yeah.
Now it's like you are a focal point, and who knows, you could be the leader of the monsters, who know, or the creatures. We have no idea. But that being said, when we looked at the trailer, and by the way, I do have this just in case you decide you want to start chomping on some things. My talisman,
I know. I'm protected too.
just in case. I know we're like miles away, but you never know.
No worries. I
Yeah.
don't. I don't think I can come through the camera. Like I know modern technology has improved a lot over the years, but I don't think I can reach in, or it almost be in like a 3D experience if I'm like on a screen or something. It's like, oh, geez,
No,
his
I
hand, right?
totally
But
get it.
Yeah.
but I don't
Oh
think
my
I can
god.
come through a phone or camera. Just be like, here's Smiley. Or just like,
The smile.
sorry, I had to throw that in.
I have this burning question though. All right, so in like you made the trailer, which is amazing. Um and you sort of proposition the older couple. Now, does older meat taste better than younger meat
Well, hmm, is
or does it matter?
I don't. Well, it
I
is
mean, is
fresh, but I don't. I don't like it too rare.
yeah,
I like it lean, but I don't like it
yeah.
too rare. So
But
it's
what
give
about
it a
that
little bit.
aging process?
Hmm. Well, I gotta say I do like fresh meat, but
Yeah,
if it's a couple days after, not so bad. But again, they seem to keep themselves in shape, so
yeah.
well, they look pretty tasty. It's pretty hard to resist. So
Oh my gosh, yeah.
One of the questions that somebody pointed out, because we had asked viewers in our Facebook group, a couple of Facebook groups, you know, and you're a dead ringer for a young Joker. are you a comic book person, or what are some of the stuff that that you grew up with that kind of formed the way you act and what you do?
Really, ever since I was a kid, it was basically all sorts of movies, be they cartoons, comedies, dramas, um, just all bunch of different movies. And you see certain actors the way they are, be they scary, funny, in a few cases, a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And it's just, I just, it was just amazing to watch all these different actors portraying all these different characters. And when I was a kid, I'm just like, that would be cool if I could be part of that one day, or if I could. Right? I just, well, sure. I watch the Oscars every year. I loved going to the movies. I like seeing all the new and old and classics as well. Just, I mean, I just love the whole industry and experience. For me, it's, what they say, work, do what you love. You never work a day in your life. And I'm actually thrilled when I can work more. So,
Yeah,
or I should say
exactly.
more thrilled.
So what did you think of the Oscars last night?
Oh, honestly, I did. I loved it. I can't think of a bad thing to say about anything about the industry, in all honesty. So
Did
I can,
did you watch
I,
last night?
I did.
Yeah, who was your favorite win?
Oh, that's tough. I believe everyone that won deserved it. They earned it
Yeah.
and then some. And as for all the other nominees, they deserve to be there too. So,
It's just like you said, it's a great night for movies.
Yeah, it is. I just wanna go for the sake of going. That would be fun.
right? I mean, it's like an honor to be nominated. It's an
Yeah,
honor just to be there. It'd
yeah.
be an honor just like, even if you don't present, it's an honor just to sit there and just, I mean, I'd be in awe of
So
everything.
so
So,
Jamie, do
Yeah.
you actually watch the shows that you're on when they air? I know that sounds kind of a silly question because I know some actors they like to watch it, some actors they don't. Once it's done, it's done. In the stuff that you've done, do you actually watch it, or do you just kind of once it's done, it's done?
no, no, I always love being a part of it. And it always is um, cool to see, what you were a part of in the show, and how it all, and sort of like the see how it all turned out in the end.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't say it's like, once it's done, because really you can just look at it and like all this came together, and the fact that you got to be a part of it
Yeah.
is is like even it's like it makes it even more cool that not it's like because not only do you like it, but it's like you almost got to both see and live it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um, you know, I've been fortunate in a couple of, like, background opportunities where I was featured. I mean, I just go, I'm like, "I don't care if I get called to set or not," they pay you the same. So, I've been fortunate in being featured a couple of times, and there's just something about you seeing yourself as part of the project and something that's bigger than yourself, like, one of the movies I did, Tag was on this weekend, and I'm in the hospital scene when they're chasing each other around, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I don't even have that shirt anymore." I don't know even know where it is, but I probably stained it. But yeah, I don't know, I just get a kick out of it, and I know that other actors purposely don't watch themselves, but I'm not delivering lines, so I don't care, I just wanna see if my hair looked okay or if how goofy I look or even if I just made it. But, despite not caring if I get called to set or not, I just always wanna see that. So, you must I mean, just seeing what was your reaction when you saw yourself look the scene where you're looking over the banister? What was your reaction to that?
To be honest, I don't scare too easy. I just looked, and it was more the first reaction was, "Oh, hey, I remember that day." Right?
Yeah,
So, well, because it was so exciting to do the scene itself, but then actually see it on TV is
yeah,
like, oh wow, right? And
No, I totally understand where you're coming from. It's a little surreal and it's like, wow. Um, Now, have and I'm not asking for spoilers, but have they given you any backstory to the creatures at all? That I'm not necessarily that you can tell us, but do you in this season are we getting some more backstory or um some kind of figuring out some kind of answers? Because when you look at the trailer, yes, we have you in the bus, but then we have some new creatures that we've come to find out, and we have these new people. So we got a lot of moving parts here. Did the writers at least give you some kind of background?
not that I can say at this point, and I say whatever I say what comes out season two, I think will be just a fun surprise and treat for everybody, cast, crew, and all
Yeah.
viewers.
Did you know that you were going to speak? When did you find out that you did have a speaking part?
I heard that I was upgraded to actor role shortly before From started filming again, and to all those
Awesome.
listening, I really think it's cast, crew, and viewers that I have to thank for that. As if
Yeah.
and of course my agent and all the supporters, family, friends. I just want to thank everybody. If I'm leaving anyone out, I'm sorry. but it was
I think you just did your first
but
Emmy speech.
no, no, sorry, no. I'm not prepping for an Oscar speech. I just want to make sure I just don't want to seem
No, no,
ungrateful.
no,
That's
I'm
all.
just saying, like, you've just done your first Emmy speech, so you're good to go, like, yeah, you're a shoo-in for an Emmy now.
When I first learned I was actually gonna have a speaking part was the day I was actually given a script. So that's when I literally found out. Like,
Oh my gosh.
I'm not because I didn't know I was going to talk or have anything until I actually got the script. I'm like, wow, okay, cool.
Like, Stephen Macaulay wants to know if this is your first speaking role.
No, I've had a few in the past. I'd say it's been my scariest speaking role for sure, and it's definitely
Yeah,
the one that freaks out a lot of people,
yeah,
and
oh,
which is
well,
so
that's for
funny
sure.
because it's funny with the transition, like because offset, it's like everything's so chill, relaxed, and just everything's easy and going. Like everyone, cast and crew are just fantastic to be around, chat with, and just shoot the breeze. Then as soon as I'm on set, I end up freaking out anybody, almost to a point where it's just like, okay, don't make eye contact with so and so because you know that you'll freak them out too much. So I'm
So
sure
you have
I
to eat lunch alone?
no, not right. Well, not so much leave alone. It's just like, um, just okay. Once everything's taken care of, you're done for the day. Like you're wrapped for the day. It's like, okay, good. You don't freak out too many people, and just wish them well and
Yeah,
everything. So, and
yeah.
even when season one came, and I like family and friends started watching it, it's like, okay, I'll watch it because you're in it, but I'm gonna do it with in the daytime, broad daylight. I'm making sure all the lights are turned on in the house.
Oh
Someone
my
I know
gosh.
actually told me
Yeah,
that while they watched it.
That's
So
great. That is great.
yeah.
You had talked about before we got on about, the release date. And I know this has always been like a sticking point with all the people we've interviewed because it's such a great show and it got kind of hidden in Epic. Now MGM Plus has it and I know the release date in America in the US is going to be April 23rd. Is there any word on if it's going to be the same release date in Canada or you're just not sure?
I
Okay.
really don't
And that's
know.
fine. I just wanted to kind of throw that out there because
Mhm.
it just seems like you guys are working your butts off to make a great show every week. And for the next nine, or once April 23rd comes, the next 9 weeks, we're going to be here just like soaking it all up. And it's just been a slow and steady you know, train, so to speak. I think I can.
Right,
And
yeah. Yeah.
it's just so funny because somebody in our group was like, "Oh, I just found this show called From," and it's like we podcast about it, and it was in our group. I'm like, "Really?"
I'm like
And that
duh.
it's like where you
Where
been,
you
and
been?
and I think that there's a lot of Lost fans out there, and from what I've heard, it's a lot like Lost, and you know, it's just kind of a shame. But now, what type of interaction do you have with like the main cast, or do you, other than just scaring the crap out of them?
Well, a lot of it is scaring the living daylights out of them at times, but um, I actually have managed to meet not everyone, but a few people, and it was just an honor and a thrill to be in their presence and actually speak with them. And they're when I'm not scaring them, they're really nice to talk to and just
Yeah.
mingle with and work with, especially on such a great project.
Yeah. Let's see. We have a question from Tasha Nash. How many takes do you go through trying to keep the smile?
Oh, the smile's kept every single take. Maybe a few times when it says cut, I just like, oh, and maybe just a few take. Like once they say cut, I'll take a breath or two, and as soon as get the moment before, get the smile on, and here we are.
Yeah.
So
So there's
basically, however many takes they need, no problem. So
yeah, well,
no,
that's great. I'm surprised you haven't been tapped for a toothpaste commercial yet, given your smile. Several people in the chat group, or yeah, the chat group are asking the same thing, but this is the best phrasing of it. My mom always told me if I made a face for too long, it would stay like that. How do you go through everyday life with that smile? Um, your cheeks have to hurt.
no, it's all right. Um, well, it depends on how long I hold it, but no, it's never a problem. So cheeks don't hurt so much. I mean, I'm blushing. Well, maybe I can feel the heat because my cheeks are blushing a little bit. But
Yeah.
other than that, no, just no, it's just me. So just it's like an everyday thing.
So Mustafa Yassin asks, what do you think of the creatures you're playing? What do you think of them? I mean, do you guys freak each other out?
Um, no, we don't. I wouldn't say we freak each other out. It's just, oh, hey, how are you, buddy? And it's just, hey, so and so, great to see you
Yeah.
again. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't say we freak each other out. Um,
Who's your
as for the
favorite creature?
oh, my favorites. Not really sure because
Do you look in the
they all
mirror a
bring their
lot
own
and just
they all bring their own. I wouldn't say I don't really have a
thing?
favorite as such. I mean, every
Yeah.
creature is unique. So
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about
Yeah.
something more important. If you were in the world as a non-creature, would you be more of a town person or a colony person? Where do you think you try to fit in the from world as a non-creature? Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
sure.
because
which
always
one would you
everybody that's
choose,
always the
town or
question that
colony?
everybody wants to know. Are you a town? Are you a colony in real life?
Yeah. If you were stranded there, which one would you pick?
Not really sure. They both have their pros. So uh, although I gotta say Donna is pretty intimidating. So not 100% sure. Not 100% sure. Donna is pretty intimidating, but I know having watched the show that she'd scare you, but at the same time, she's someone who'd have your back. So, not saying that Boyd
Yeah.
wouldn't
No,
as
I mean,
well.
yeah, they
And
both have their strengths.
so for sure, I would say possibly. Well, keep my talisman handy wherever I am, but I would say possibly colony because even though it's more, um, almost a by your own rules sort of thing. Donna's there. She's got your back, and of course, you got Ellis, Boyd's son. He and Fatima are gonna help you no matter what. So they'd
Oh,
come
that's
through for you in a
awesome.
heartbeat, as well as Boyd would. And plus, in the
So
colony
it
house, you're
sounds
safe.
so
Well, until somebody decides to
yeah.
stop by
Well,
Well,
and,
you're
we're
you know,
safe.
and bring his friends.
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yes, until I stop by. At which point, just keep the talisman handy and just make sure you're in a just make sure you're there, and you can always leave Colony House if, well, uh, should Smiley reinvade the Colony House? It's no spoiler. It's just like if should any other surprises come up, you got the entire town to run. Just keep your talisman handy. It'll keep them back. but I would have to say
Yeah.
it's close, but possibly Colony.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Where would you go,
I,
Alex?
I would, if I was single, it'd be Colony all the way. But if I have a family, which I do, I have a daughter and whatever, the town is just more.
What are you saying? Your life
No,
is over,
no, I'm
so it's
saying it's
town?
just got more structure. That's all. I mean,
Yeah, you want the
I don't
structure.
need
You
my
like the
daughter
structure.
seeing people having sex in the living room. I'm old fashioned that way. Um, but at the same time,
Yeah, I'm kinda like
they're
that.
both, like you said, Jamie, they're both great choices, and I think that it's just a matter of keeping people safe.
Tugas, have you created a backstory for yourself?
I can't say I have at this point. I'm just
Like, where you've like, who were you before you were a monster?
mm, there is. I haven't really created a backstory for myself,
Okay.
so it's sort of a difficult question to answer. I
Oh, no,
apologize
no,
for
it comes
that.
down to this.
So
You're
No, that's
just
all
doing your
right.
job.
No,
You're
you're good,
just told to
period.
scare the crap out of people, and you do it well.
Yeah,
I mean, we all have our roles. So don't think
yeah,
like
yeah,
that. So
yeah.
I have the tough questions for you now. I mean, I know this whole acting thing is important, and I realize that. Um, I'm assuming you're a hockey fan. And who's your team?
I am. Ooh, I am a hockey fan, but it's hard to say. I've had family members who are huge Habs fans, Montreal Canadiens fans, and some of my closest friends are Toronto Maple Leafs fans. So it's like I'm just gonna see what happens when the Stanley Cup playoffs start, and I'll see and root for certain teams here and there. Keep my favorites to myself, and then when it comes to like the last two teams, I'll just hope that this team wins. So like I'll say as the time gets closer because it's just like, what do you mean? Because it's pretty hard when you're in between two people. One person's got a Montreal Canadian jersey, Toronto jersey. Meanwhile, what he's sitting across from you has got a Boston jersey. And it's like, I'm gonna leave the room. And it's just like, and like at this point, you're just gonna, for it's just like, yeah, no. At this point, it's just like, oh, nice shot. I mean, the refs should look at that
I
again.
understand
Or,
when you're trying to be in the middle. I mean, I'm a Rangers fan and I love them. I don't follow them as much as I should, but it's always fun to talk a little bit of hockey while Lizzie thinks about her other questions about from. But no,
Oh,
exactly. I
is
mean,
that what I'm doing?
oh, no worries. No, I don't mind hockey talk. I watch the World Juniors too, so
and Canada never disappoints. That's for sure. That is for sure.
usually not. They had me worried this past season. I was really worried, especially where Czechia was a huge underdog at the time. And then, because I was watching the first game Canada played against Czechia, I'm like, what is going on? Then I'm like, basically, I'm like, I am wired, and especially where I'm on Newfoundland time, it's really late in the night. I am wired as anything. It's just like, oh, it's like I know I'm recording the thing, but I really want to see it live, right? In case any spoilers come up. You're watching trending now, and it's just like, I wonder who's gonna win. Next thing you know, you're on your phone, you see trending now. It's like, oh darn it. Oh well, okay, let's just see. Goal, goal,
Yeah,
goal. Okay, that's
it's
who
funny
wins.
because
So
I mean, I know you're too young for this. I still remember the Miracle on Ice when I was a kid, and we saw it
Oh my
on tape,
god, that
and there
even I
oh
know. You know what? Because the goalie was from Easton, Massachusetts, which was the
right.
next town over. He came home, and his name is escaping me,
Jim
but
Craig,
he
right?
was the
Yeah,
Jim
Jim Craig.
Craig!
I
He
didn't see the
was
actual thing,
the
but I did see the
hottest
movie
thing.
Miracle.
Oh my god.
I saw the movie
I
Miracle.
went
Loved that
to
movie.
Oh my god, the movie was so good, and I went to the premiere, the Boston premiere, and he was at that, sitting a couple of rows ahead of me. Of course, he's an adult now, but oh my god, that was the biggest thing in Massachusetts. Alright, now I'll
The
go back
biggest,
to
I
sleep.
think that was one of the biggest things, well, in the States, if not around the world at the time. So, well, definitely in the
Yeah.
States.
I mean, we beat Russia.
I know
It
it was,
hopefully, it's not the only time, but I
I
mean,
know, and
we
that was
beat
the thing.
Russia.
It
Did
was such a
Canada
slice of
care
time.
as much?
Now, did you play sports when you were a kid, or were you
I did hockey, a little bit of football and basketball here and there. I was mostly a
right?
D on hockey though.
Okay.
Yeah, no, so um, stopped until just 1 year after Bantam, basically, and I was mostly a stay-at-home D, just making sure
Yeah,
I had
I
the goalies
understand.
back.
I can
And
appreciate that. I can totally appreciate that. As someone that doesn't play hockey but that has watched a ton of Ranger games, I can totally appreciate that. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, so what's next for you? I know season 2 is in the can. I know there's been rumblings about a season 3, hopefully. They said it's happening, but we're, holding our breath because you never know with the way streaming services work. What other projects do you have going on?
I'm not really sure yet. Just I'll be right now. I'm in Newfoundland, seeing what comes here. And but of course, if I'm fortunate enough to be invited, say either cross country to other cities or provinces, I won't say no. Like wherever the work takes me, I'll be there in a heartbeat. I usually say, should I be lucky enough to get a part, sign me up, suit me up, tell me when and where. I'll be there with bells on
I
because
love that.
because
Let me
I
I
I
just
just love
was
the
wondering.
industry so much. It's
Oh my god. Yeah.
I would work like because I've told people more than one, told like some of my friends and family, like I would work almost every day in the industry if I could. Well, okay, except maybe Christmas Day, but uh,
Yeah.
except Christmas Day because I mean a
Unless
lot
you're
of people know
playing
me. I'm a huge
Santa.
Christmas fan, despite scaring the heck out of
Oh.
people. So
Oh my
although that said,
god.
Halloween is a close second. So well, it's a closer second than it's been when I was younger. So.
Yeah. So, as far as logistics, how far is Newfoundland from Nova Scotia, and how how does that work for you? Like, getting there and I don't know, like, how is that not a deterrent? Because I know with background in Atlanta, they pretty much want you to be right in Atlanta.
Oh, for sure. For background, it helps if you're sure. I can't speak for everywhere, but yeah, for background, it's make sure you're a local resident of whatever city you're in.
Yeah,
But whereas,
that's
say,
what we
some
get.
people who are, say, main cast, be they filming in Canada or in Europe or anywhere, if even if they're from like New York or LA, they'll
Right.
they'll fly there. Uh,
Right.
Now, as far as travel itself goes, not work related, it's literally a half-hour time difference. And I've I've actually lived East Coast and West Coast throughout my life. I've lived as far as Alberta and I've visited as far as BC. So, and
Oh,
I'll tell
wow.
you, as far as flights go, because living in Alberta, when you fly to Newfoundland, it's actually cheaper. It's like, let's just go to California or Hawaii. You know what? It's the time zone's not as bad. You don't have to go as much, and you don't have to worry as much about having to de-ice all the time. Or
Yeah.
actually, when I did fly to Hawaii at one point, because leaving Alberta in cold weather, you're dressed to the nines in winter gear, so to speak. And then basically, as soon as you got off the plane, I had shorts and stuff in my carry-on. So basically, as soon as I'm
You'd
off the
have to.
airport, just go in, change, and basically
Oh,
hanging
that's
loose.
awesome.
So
That's awesome.
So, how do you manage if you live in Newfoundland, how do you manage getting over to Nova Scotia to work on the show?
Well, it's an easy
I'm.
it's a
Oh,
common
go on.
commute, Jamie.
It's not too far away, so I'd say it would be. I'd say it'd be a little complicated at times, depending, but it's not impossible. I would be, and like in all honesty, I would be willing to fly anywhere and everywhere, wherever the work takes me,
Right.
wherever I am, wherever the work takes me, be it 5 minutes down the road, be it say an hour's drive, or if I got to fly international or cross country, I would do it.
I was just gonna ask because I think we're winding up, but, you know, has anyone just recognized you once you smiled, like, you're just like and they're like, "Oh my god." Have you sent
That actually did happen to me on two separate occasions. So there was at one point where someone looked at me, they said, "Geez, you look," and I'm paraphrasing, it's like, "Geez, you look familiar." It's just like, what have you done recently, right? So I just told them I've been on this and that, and
Smile.
so like I just told, just here and there, and then when stuff was said and done, that I could say yes, I was on from, I was on it, right? It's just like that's where I see it, right? It's just like, oh, and they love the show, and of course we introduced ourselves, and actually we've been friends ever since. So like
That's
no, like
so
since
awesome.
meetings, like hi, how are you, and we still from time to time keep in touch, and then of course there was another occasion where like none of us really knew each other, so we were just sitting around shooting the breeze at another point. Forget exactly where we were, but there was one person who was telling us about a certain show that they saw, and it's just like, oh my god, I forget the name of the show, but there was this one really creepy guy that freaked me out, and I had an inkling, I had somewhat of an idea of what she was talking about, and of course, I don't like boasting or having a huge ego or
Yeah.
whatever, and of course, we're all wearing masks at the time. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do this once, and sorry in advance if this freaks you out or if it bothers you, right? So I
Oh my
lower the
God.
mask. This like the big ring. I can't remember if my eyes were like wide open, like I was surprised, or just the glare. The person was so freaked out. I honestly thought they were gonna literally, and I mean literally, fall right out of their seat they were standing. Like it's on one of those plastic like chairs you fold down or whatever, fold up that you have,
Yeah.
right? It's like one of those
Yeah.
like you could see like the hind legs like just barely still on the floor. I think it's just like just it's like, oh my god. I was like, are you okay? It's like, right. It's like, oh geez, that's who you are. It's like, yeah, it's okay.
Oh
It's
my
all right.
God.
Sorry for freaking you out, because again, like you gotta have, because at the time protocol is still on the go, but
Yeah.
even to do it, because with COVID like just put it down. Oh gee, put it back up. Just like, it's okay, right? It's all right. Mask is on, normal smile. So it's, or behind the mask you can't see. It's like, it's okay. It's me, right? So it's the same
Yeah.
person you were
Just a
talking to for
person.
the past however long, right? So
Did you ask for the A1 steak sauce afterwards? That would freak them out.
I didn't think of it, and doesn't bother me that much. So it's like,
Oh my
don't get
God.
me wrong, I love a good barbecue steak.
Oh my, that would just be so funny if that was your stick to just walk up to someone, smile, and then put the A1 steak sauce up. That would just kill me. Alright, so now we're selling you on
That almost sounds like
toothpaste
another
and
commercial
A1
might have to
steak.
do. First toothpaste, now A1 steak sauce. Imagine Smiley. Now, this is in no way part of a show or anything. This is in no way part of a show. I want to make that clear. Just imagine,
Yeah.
like, say, like, even if you had, say, like Pennywise or someone like that, it's like it's a rare, or
Oh,
like
my
A1, or
favorite.
like something like, or like any other creature that would freak anyone out. Just go, it's a rare pleasure seeing you, medium rare. And then meanwhile, you get the A1 steak spice, or I don't know if you're just like sprinkling this like the pepper or like the steak spice on like like just like in those old timey
Jamie, you
cartoons.
are a sick individual, and our listeners love every bite of it. It's
I
awesome.
love
I love
him.
it, and this network that we're on is, it started with The Walking Dead, and it's kind of evolved to a whole bunch of other shows. So you are with your people, let me tell you. And when you start doing conventions and you start doing all that other kind of great stuff, you're gonna eat them up as much as
Oh.
as they're gonna eat you up, because it has been such a pleasure and an honor for you to come and spend a little time with us too, because
Oh,
from day one when we saw you on that screen, you have been, you've been pretty captivating,
we
and
loved you.
I know that there's a lot ahead, and when you're really big, and I'm talking like, Harrison Ford big, I I can say I knew you when. And that's all this is about. And
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, really? So that you have bragging
I
rights, Alex?
interviewed him on our podcast, and he won't even take my call anymore. But you know what? I
Yeah.
know, because I got the tape. After the season's over, we'd love to have you back, because I know we're gonna have more questions for you. And then we'll finally know what the heck you are
Yes.
holding back on us, which I totally understand. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for taking the time. Lizzie, do you have anything else?
I know, I know. You know what? In the obsessive fan way, I don't wanna let go. But I
I know I've received a lot of comment, or I've said a lot of comments like, "Oh my gosh, you're so scary. Please don't haunt me." And it's like, "Oh, it's sick. I love it." It's like, and I've said this to a few friends like, "Oh, you're so creepy. It's scary." And it's just, coming from it, and because I know, like, and respect them, it's like coming from you, I'll take it as a compliment. And where I've heard that's like a sick individual, like, I'll take that as like, given what we're talking
Yeah.
about, it's like, yeah, oh, I know it comes from love. There's not a
Oh,
doubt in my
yeah.
Well,
mind that
it's
comes
going to
from
be
love.
pretty funny when you guys all decide to start doing the conventions, because I know Lizzie does them and I've done a couple of them. And you start seeing people looking like the character, like you or the other characters or whatever. It's you're gonna know you've truly made an impression, and I guarantee you the fan base is, it might not be that big, but it is mighty and it is loyal,
It's
and we just
growing.
can't wait
It
to
is
see what you
growing.
guys are gonna uh put out there, because it is gonna be, I couldn't believe the trailer, and then they had the full trailer, and then you guys are killing it.
I couldn't believe it either. I just loved the whole experience in itself. I even seeing the trailer, I'm just like, oh, geez, I can see that now. Cool. And then,
Yeah.
and I am on both From Facebook groups as
Oh,
well.
okay.
I just see, like, I receive notifications from time to
Oh, so
time, and
you saw me stalking you with your picture on the From Facebook groups. Again, thank you so much. We're gonna close this out. Just so you know, we're gonna do every week. We have an interview just about leading up to the finale, which is season 2 of From. Jamie, thank you so much.
no problem whatsoever. I want to thank you both again for having me. Hopefully, I did right by you guys.
Now, I'm gonna tell you, Jamie, we usually end the show this certain way. And the problem is, it really doesn't apply to your character, but I'm going to say it anyways, and I'm just going to let it go. So, folks, the bell is ringing. You better get home because it might get dark, except if you have our guest where he wants to maybe, put some toothpaste and barbecue sauce on top. And we are out.